Yo, what is up YouTube? And today we have a pretty important video about Etheria Restart. We're just going to be talking about the 5 biggest changes that I hope this game actually implements pretty soon, because there seems to be a lot of discomfort and drama in the community right now. Now, I'm just going to say before I start, I'm actually pretty addicted to this game. I haven't had this much fun in a while playing a gacha game. Maybe it's because it's the honeymoon phase or the game just started up. But I just want to make sure that the game gets better so it can retain its player base for as long as possible, because I think this game actually has a lot of potential and can be one of the greater gacha games in the market. So yeah, let's actually get started. So I'm going to talk about the first thing that I think everyone knows about, and it's going to be the gate between Hell and Inferno, right? So basically what they did after beta is they buffed the health of all of the Inferno bosses, probably because people were clearing it at level 50. And I think they need to decrease it again, to be honest. And the biggest reason why is because a lot of these bosses have enrages. I don't know if I can even find it, but this boss gets like Teramaton, for example, gets like a stacking attack buff. I can't even find it, but basically, you know, the longer the fight goes, the harder it is. And since their health got buffed, it's pretty hard to kill them in time without using the infamous dot comp with SSania, because it does percent max health. Now, I don't know what they're going to do to nerf these. I definitely think that Teramaton needs to be nerfed and Aurora needs to be nerfed. I think Doki Doki's in a fine spot, to be honest, because there's no boss. You're fighting waves. But I think those need to be nerfed. And for shells, there's definitely going to need to be some, health nerfs, in my opinion. Basically, a lot of these bosses, especially Nico Nana, are just super, super tanky. And people are finding team comps to, combat this, basically, using, Kachi even, and I think there's a Viper. But the thing is, all these comps still have Lily for the most part, and the reason why Lily is so important is because you basically get another turn with your DPS with her, and more, because her S1 brings your DPS with the follow-up attack, the assist. So it just goes to show that there is a big problem with the boss's health pools, right? I think the damage they do is fine. I think the mechanics are fine. It's just the health pools seem super high. And sure, I'm sure people are going to be able to clear them when they get better gear. But it just feels like the jump from Hell to Inferno in the waiting room, where you have to sit and farming Hell 4 and Hell 3, is just not that fun. I think they should definitely nerf the boss's health a little bit and make it easier. I don't think it's too much to ask for. I think the biggest mistake they made was making Inferno unlock at level 50. I think people tried to clear it at level 50 and thought, oh, I can just clear it. And they even included some of the hyperlink charter quests in it for Inferno difficulty for Sharon, and I think there's other ones as well that you have to do. I can't even find them, but I think, they should have made it so that Inferno unlocked honestly at level 60, 65, and I think this wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But, usually players, when they unlock something, they want to try it, and getting gated that hard is kind of not fun. Next thing I think they need to change is the amount of energy or stability we get a day. So if you're not max refreshing, which you should stop eventually as a free-to-play player, probably at level 50-ish, the amount of stamina we get a day is pretty low. You get it from union check-ins, which is okay. You can get up to 100, right? It's very nice. You also get random ones here and there from events, but still, I think the energy a day you get is very, very low. And for me, even I'm refreshing 10 crystal, 10 of these redemptions every day with crystals, because I'm a spender, and it still feels like I am running out of things to do very quickly. And I can't imagine for players who can't refresh anymore, right? Now, I know that, people don't want to spend their entire day on this game, but, just giving us more energy daily, so everyone doesn't have to, spam refresh, so they don't feel like they're getting behind, would be better. I think what they can do is maybe add another event. Currently, we have this chakra rings event, which is pretty much useless for energy. You're just kind of going around in a circle and then not being able to buy everything in the event shop, which is pretty sad. But that's also a problem. They should probably make it so that we get more things in this event shop, lower the cost, and give us energy as a reward. But, I think they need to give us more stamina. I think what they could actually do is maybe make another event, a ongoing event every single week. That if what I'm trying to say is when they're running this event, they can have a to-do list here, and if you do Union Boss or Phantom Theater, you get a certain amount of stability every single day. That would be very nice. They could also just mail us stuff in the mail. So Epic 7 gives you energy halfway through the day, because that's when like you have nothing to do because you probably spent your energy. That's like a great way to do it as well. I think they could give us like 100 stability midway through the day every day, and it would make farming feel a lot better. Like you can see I'm just sitting here doing nothing but making videos for you guys because I literally cannot play the game. I think what they wanted was people to play like RTA, Summon Arena, but you literally can't play right now because you don't have enough units built, right? It just feels terrible when you have like 6-7 built characters, and then like one of them gets banned, people pick the like 1 or 2 of yours, and now you're stuck with not even having a full roster. So right now, especially in the early game, they definitely need to give us more stability so we can like, you know, gear our characters so we can actually play what they consider to be late game in the Summit Arena. Yeah, so that's my deal on the energy. I think they should definitely give us more. I don't know how they'll do it. I gave some suggestions. Hopefully they like, you know, do something about it. So let's talk about the next thing. So the next thing is going to be drop rates. So I think Animus EXP, you know, I think the drop rates are fine here. Honestly, it takes a little bit too much to upgrade your SSR characters. Like leveling up your SSR characters to 6 stars, it's pretty expensive EXP wise, and it makes it so that you have to farm a lot, which in turn makes it not even worth it because you have to do it too much. So I think they should maybe lower the EXP cost level characters. I think that's a stretch, so it's not really a big deal. I think the Animus, the Anima imprints drop rate is okay. There's a lot of variance in these drops. They should definitely change the variance, but I think like when you high roll, like it feels really good. When you low roll, it feels really bad. Just like condense it so it's more, make the average higher, but like make it so there's not as much variance, if that makes sense. The big thing though is going to be thresholds and shells. So, you know, GP prowess, EXP, cool. No one really cares too much about it. But there's a huge problem. So let's start with like modules, for example. So you can see that in possible drops, it lists that you can get 3 matrix pieces, right? The thing is, this is a lie. You can still get 2 matrix pieces, and they are very common. So it makes farming super unfun. And I think, you know, Hell4 should definitely only drop 3 matrix pieces. What I think is that they plan to release harder difficulty, so they don't want to like run out of things to release. Sure. But at least up the drop rate on the 3 matrix pieces, and don't bait people. Like, add the drops for the 2 matrix pieces as well. I think a lot of people rush to Hell 4 thinking that they'll only get the 3 matrix pieces. It's not true. You still get 2 matrix, and it's very annoying. Inferno as well, the drop rates are pretty much identical. I think you get slightly more 3 matrix than 2 matrix, but you have like the what's it called, specialized core, and that's like the biggest reason to farm. But the thing is, just because you want these specialized cores, even though they're very good, like the reward to difficulty ratio is just insane. Yes, the specialized cores are extremely powerful, but they're not as powerful right now for us, which I'll talk about when we talk about shells, because it's hard to actually get your perfect sets running. So I think they should definitely, you know, fix the drop rates, make 3 matrix drop more than 2 matrix, and especially in Inferno, like make the drop rates even better than Hell 4. I don't know why they're so similar to Hell 4 in drop rates. They should like make the reward bigger. And you might be thinking, oh, won't this just, you know, make the gap wider between the people that can't clear it? Well, I said in my first point, they should make it easier as well. So that's what my counterpoint for thresholds. I think they should definitely make it easier, and then up the drop rate for the 3 matrix pieces for sure. Farming 2x for me was super painful because the drop rates are so bad. I don't even want to step in there during 1x because I already know that the drop rates are terrible. So yeah, let's now talk about shells. So shells, people didn't really farm it at all during 2x, which is pretty standard, right? It wasn't buffed. But shell drop rates are terrible. So if you're farming Inferno, you still can get these epic shells, which makes 0 sense to me, by the way. I think shells, especially because there's only 3 difficulties, just remove the epic shells. The only benefit you get from Inferno is that you get the chance to get these triple matrix pieces, right? And these triple matrix shells are super good because the base stats you get on them are slightly higher, not the passives, just the base stats. And also you can activate your 12, 8, 6 set. For example, like this piece is very, very good that I farm because I can activate my 12 Kenai, my 8 Fury, and my 6 Fury Edge with this, right? You just run 3 Kenai, you run 2 Fury pieces, and you run 1 Fury Edge. And you know how I said the Fury Edge drops from Inferno thresholds? Well, it's super hard to get any of these like 3 perfect triple matrix pieces because 1, the triple matrix drop rate is super low, and 2, the amount of RNG that there is on the shells, you can see the matrices that are available. Like you're usually looking for a combination of 2 of like the 5 on the left with like the perfect one on the right. I guess it's 6 and 2. So you're, like for me, for example, I'm looking for Kenai, Fury, and Fury Edge, pretty much all the time. Sometimes I'll be looking for Momentum, Fury, and Fury Edge, right? Yeah, it's not gonna really happen that often if you do the math. And since the drop rates are so low, I see one of the triple matrices like every like I don't even know like 30 runs or so, and there's already RNG. It just makes it super painful, right? They should definitely increase the drop rates on this. They should remove the epics. I don't know why these even drop. Well, you get so many of these while farming it. It's super annoying. And they should just definitely, increase the amount of triple matrix pieces that drop. Not even triple matrix pieces. I think if they just remove the epics from dropping, it's fine. I think like the drop rates, like whatever, because you have to sell these for currency anyways. But, they should definitely just, remove these epics. It just makes no sense that they're here when you're farming for shells. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, similar to Threshold and shells, because it costs, oh, that's the wrong button, because it costs so much to upgrade stuff, and you're always hurting on like materials, like they should definitely just increase the drop rate on these. Like the training data, the drop rate, like you get so little, so you're always starved. And even for modules, you get so little coins, as you can see. I'm only at 3 mil, but I have a lot of pieces to upgrade. So they should definitely up the goal, like this, the coins and the training data drops by at least, I would say like 30%, because you're just running out way too quickly, and it just feels terrible. I think, people don't really realize this because they aren't really farming Inferno and like hard speed chasing yet. But once you do, you're going to realize the coins and the training data definitely need to be buffed. It's just a huge pain. I don't know why they're so low. Either that or give us more like randomly. For example, when I mentioned like with this, like if they gave us like a second like to-do list that gives us stability, they could also give us like coins and training data on top of that. It would feel way better. For me, like as a spender, like on the game, I spent a decent amount. A lot of the times in the shop, what I'm like looking for is like coins and training data. That's pretty much it. And honestly, like lattices as well, which I'll talk about in a second. But they should definitely increase the drop rates for this, like just in all content. Okay, now that brings us to lattices. This is like the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things. So lattices, you guys know, they're gonna be in materials. Oh, I have none. Okay. Well, that leads into this perfectly. So basically lattices are used to upgrade your character skills, right? You have one for SSRs and you have one for SRs. I guess I have to pick a skill I didn't upgrade yet. Yeah, you have 10. So I think the purple ones for SRs, it's okay. You get a lot from Hyperlink Charter and there's a lot in the rotating shops. I think initially what they should do, I think the amount they give you a week for SR lattices is okay. But I think they should put like, I don't know, a couple more into these, like maybe for like the small quests, because it's really hard to progress through this without the SR lattices, because a lot of the SRs in this game are very powerful, but lattices are still like kind of rare, especially early on. Like for me right now, I don't really feel a problem with it because I've like cleared a lot of the content, but especially early on, you can definitely feel that you're lacking the lattices to upgrade, like for example, your Kazuya the Reverie, right? Or your Valerian, or your Dieting, because like all three of these are like must build characters. You're running out of lattices, right? And if you're free to play, you probably have like your Gray lattice as well, right? Or even your where is she? If I can even find her, your Dinah as well. And you know who Dinah is, the red defense breaker, right? For me, like I even spent like 2 resets on SR characters when I was progressing, because the amount of SR lattices is just way too low. And I think the weekly amount they give us is fine, but just give us more initially. I don't know through what, maybe through events, maybe like add an extra like event for new players, like I don't know, below the shop icon, like beginner event or whatever, and they give us even more lattices for SRs, because it just feels terrible to bring your SR characters because you don't have lattices. And I think that's a big issue. A lot of people don't realize, because they're lacking purple lattices, that a lot of the SRs are very good. And now that people are in the late game and finding ways to try to break into Inferno because they don't have Lily, now people are finding out, oh, Kachi the Guard, for example, is super strong. Or for example, Kraken is very strong, or even Yang is very strong. And that's because they're sitting on these lattices now, so they're able to build these. But I think newer players should definitely be able to build these earlier on into the game. Just give us more initially, and then keep the amount that we have weekly. And that brings us to golden lattices. Don't even get me started on golden lattices, because I'm gonna get very annoyed. Okay, so golden lattices, like this is a huge issue right now, because basically there's not enough to upgrade your characters, period. You don't get enough initially. Actually, that's a lie. You get a decent amount initially, but weekly you don't get enough. And this is a big problem because a lot of characters in the game, especially SSRs, need lattices. That's a big reason why you see a ton of these SRs being used, because there's just not enough lattices. Like, some characters just need it, right? For example, Romoka needs max S3. Messiah needs max everything because he's a DPS, right? Romoka is a DPS as well, but she's very one-dimensional. You're just one-shotting something and splashing. Lily needs S1 maxed, and ideally S2 later on, but needs S1. For example, Holden for PvP needs S1 maxed. Freya is like one example where you don't need it. Rosa needs pretty much everything maxed. Linglo for Aurora needs S1 maxed, like for Aurora. So yeah, there's like a misconception that supports don't need any at all. That's just wrong, because like some of them are very powerful, and on top of that, your S1 gives you 15 speed. So this might not seem like a big deal in PvE. It kind of is actually, but it doesn't really matter too much. But in PvP, 15 speed is huge. That's like this god tier helmet that I rolled, right? It's like me not having it, right? Or me having an extra one if I have my S1 maxed. That's how good it is, and taking the first turn right now just wins you the game in PvP. So, like, if you're trying to play supports, like, for example, if I'm trying to play like Freya as like an opener, which a lot of people do, or like not an opener, but like a follow-up opener, well, you're missing 15 speed unless you max your S1. But it's really pointless to do that, right? For PvE, it's not going to really benefit you. Or if you do something, for example, for like let's look at Mio, for example. This is a very good example. Mio needs her S3 and S2 max because you need this cooldown, you need this like pushback to do more, you need the stun to land more often, or I guess the freeze, and also you want the cooldown reduction. Her S1's garbage, but you have to max it for PvP, and that's because you need this 15 speed. So like supports are also super needy in lattices, because later on you'll need to max all the fast opening supports. You'll need to max their S1 no matter what for PvP because of the speed, otherwise they'll get outsped and they're useless. So you can kind of see like a lot of characters need lattices, and we're just not getting nearly enough. Me personally, like I think I've bought almost every lattice pack except like two or three that I've rotated, and I'm still lattice hungry. I cannot imagine as a free to play how like annoying this can be. Like, I'm feeling it as like a spender, which is crazy to me. And I'm not saying like, oh, they should sell more. I'm saying they should just give us more in the game. It's just terrible to play without these lattices. On top of that, what did they do last reset? Or two resets ago. They released a new character. Not just one, two limited characters. So they ended up releasing 2 new banners, and it's just like kind of annoying because you pull for them, but you can't even use them because you don't have lattices. Holden, right, is like an option because he doesn't need as many, but Hoyan, you literally, like, no one is ever like really using her in PvP because you literally need to pretty much max everything, because you need to max her passive, you need to max her S3 because it's like you have to one-shot with this, and then because you have to one-shot with her S3, you might as well, get her S1 to at least level 4 because you want the attack. So, they're releasing, if they want to release this many units because they want people to pull on it, sure, just give us more lattices so we're more tempted to pull it. For me personally, I regret even pulling for Hoyan because I don't have any lattices to build her, and I'll never be able to build her for at least like a month or 2, or even probably more, because I have to build my other characters, which also I don't have lattice for, even though I spent. And if you're free to play, it's even worse, right? So definitely there's a huge problem with lattices. They need to give us more. I don't know how. There's so many ways they can do it through events. They can just give more out in the shops. Maybe in the union shops, don't give out 15 fragments only. Maybe give like an entire lattice. That would be pretty nice. Maybe in the arena shop, they can make it like 2 a week or something for the people that want to play more. And then people, I don't know. Like, just give us more. Like, however, they can even like incorporate it into events. Like for Chakra Rings, right? This event, you don't even get a gold lattice. They give us a purple one. Why are we not getting gold lattices here, guys? They should give us like at least 2 per event or something, right? They don't even give it to us in this exchange shop, right? So it's like, it doesn't make sense. Why are they not giving us lattice and like not letting us build our characters, right? People want to play new characters. They want to summon for characters, but they don't want to be able to like summon for them and not be able to play them, right? I'm just like clicking on random stuff right now because I'm getting annoyed. But they definitely need to give us more golden lattices through events and stuff like that. They do give you a decent amount in the Hyperlink Charter, to be honest, but there needs to be more. and I don't know what they're gonna do. A lot of it is even tied behind like PvP, for example, which is very annoying. For rewards, like you have to hit Mythic for the first time in RTA to get one. You also have to get one from hitting Mythic in regular arena, right? Battle report, my defense just won, nice. But they need to give us more outside of that. Like if you're newer to the game and if you're starting later, you're not gonna be able to get those 2 lattices ever, really, realistically. So they need to give like different ways to give us lattice. I don't know if they plan to do more. I know it's the start of the game, but I feel like it's a big problem that people aren't able to build their characters because we're lacking lattices initially. I think, yeah, I don't know what to say, but definitely just give us more lattices. Okay, this brings me to the last point, and then I'm going to end the video because it's going to get very long. The last thing they need to do is just give us more communication about anything. So I think they should have like a weekly post or even like a weekly live stream with like people, like whether it be content creators, I would be so down to talk about it, or like community managers or something. They have those just to talk about upcoming changes, because there's not really a consistent news source for events, right? Like these events that are coming out, like people don't really even know about. Like, I didn't even know this was happening, right? They just kind of randomly upload stuff and don't communicate it. And like a big example of this is kind of like the 2 banners, right? These 2 banners were teased like 2 days before they released. They should definitely like hype it up more so people want to, summon for it. But even right now, there's like 2 days left until they go away, and we don't even know what's coming. They should definitely also hype up like LD characters. Like what's the next LD character that's dropping? There's like rumors about the one that appeared at the end of Hoyan's like teaser that one's coming. But they should definitely hype it up so people have something to look forward to. But yeah. They definitely need to make communication better, just put more announcements, put like a roadmap out there, what they plan to do if they want the player base to actually, sit here and not just feel like we're doing nothing. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the game, guys. I think the game is great. I just wanted to talk about the problems with the game. I think the game overall will do fine if the devs decide to make some changes, which they probably will, to be honest, because of the backlash right now. But just keep in mind, I think the biggest reason why people are so upset with the devs and stuff like that is because they really enjoy playing the game, but there's some glaring issues. So, it's a good thing and a bad thing that people are caring this much and passionate this much about it because, they really like the game, right? But it's also kind of bad because if the devs don't respond in a timely manner, then people are going to start losing interest and move into different games in like the saturated gacha market. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys agree with me or disagree with me or have anything to add on to, or if I'm overreacting. But like I mentioned, I'm a big fan of the game. I just want it to do well. So I just wanted to talk about some things I wanted changed. Thank you for watching, and as I mentioned, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.